Well, just so you know, Orlando was the same. My mission was the same place that the Casey Anthony case took place a couple years back, and it was also the same place that the whole case with Trayvon Martin happened. There was one missionary who was talking about. I never personally, just so you know, I never personally had anything happen to me that I was threatened or endangered with, and I never experienced that. And most of the missionaries that I served with didn't have any problems with it either. There were a couple who got a gun or two pulled on them, and usually that was in the hills in the country. There aren't any hills in Florida, but but in the country. So it was more of the it wasn't the same kind of environment as you think of. Like, I don't know of anybody who got a gun pulled on them in the city, but things are generally pretty quiet in Orlando. But when they go bad big. Let's see. So there was one missionary who I don't know if I should say this or not, but I'm going to anyways. There was one missionary whose mother wanted to know how much crime was going on where he lived, and she emailed him back and told him that in his apartment complex there were like 2 stabbings and a shooting the other day. Not a shooting. He would have heard that. I mean, there was a shooting in one of the apartments that I was living in after I moved out, but there were a couple of murders and a rape or something like that in the apartment complex within the week that the mother checked. So after that, she stopped checking the news. But the important thing to remember about this is that you're on the Lord's errand, and when you're on the Lord's errand, you're entitled to His protection, you're entitled to His help, and though those things were going on, and though that is somewhat of what the area is like at times, specifically in the city, not so much elsewhere, but even though that's how that's what's going on, because you're the Lord's servants, you're going to have His protection, and there are going to be times when there's danger that's around you, and you don't even recognize it or know it, because the Lord's taking care of you and because the Lord's protecting you from that. And that's not to say that you have a license to go do something stupid, but as long as you're doing what you're supposed to and where you are, as long as you're where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there, the Lord will make sure that you're all right, and it won't be an issue. Like I said, most missionaries never had anything happen, and I can't recall anybody in particular who got. I mean, getting run over by a car on your bike was more of a fear than being, hurt in any way by any of the crime that was going on. As for getting hit on your bike, just pay attention to where people are driving. The driving is kind of crazy. There would be people who would come up to a red light, and on the right hand turn there would be a solid red, and there would be traffic going out and in the other street, and without really stopping or slowing down, they'd round the corner as long as it was clear. And so it's something to, driving can be a little hectic in the city. It's a little more lax, a little more freelance. I don't know if that's the right way to say that, but it is what it is. So